I'm going to get it on my phone too, which is here.
Oh, we're live.
All right. Welcome, everyone. I'm Christy Thiel, Director of Education and your host for Hemp Your Health. It is my dream for you for 2021 that you live your dreams, that you manifest your goals and live your matrices, and we all have and live in better health and community. Hemp Your Health is a show dedicated to health, healing, and prevention. We bring on experts that share their wisdom, intelligence, and knowledge for a better human experience, animals, plants, and the planet. And today's show is a foundational show for us since it is the first show of 2021. We are going to be listening and talking with Michael Mauti, who is a dear friend, colleague, and co-worker about the Cancer Foundation that is his family's legacy, no cancer, and dig into products and prevention. Before we get Michael's wisdom and experience on this, I want to share 3 pearls, and we're going to dig into these and share more about them. Either write these down, brand them into your brain, and start practicing them right now. Numero uno, heal faster than you injure. This is really simple because the body's made to repair and regenerate. So remove the toxins, the chemicals, the negative thoughts, the bad social media, the bad news, the bad friends, anything that is toxic to your environment, and you will heal within hours, days, weeks, and months. Number 2, all disease has its root cause in inflammation, whether this is cancer, diabetes, ulcers, migraines, heart disease, etc. Chronic inflammation. And lastly, we're always in prevention. And prevention is a lot like peace. It doesn't leave you. You lean into it, you practice it, you make it a daily experience. It's always there. And with that, it is my great honor to introduce Michael Mauti. And he's going to do the introduction for himself and explain his dad's story about the Mauti Cancer Foundation, how they got started, what they do, and how they help, who they help. Michael.
Thank you so much, Christy, for having me. You're really good at those introductions, by the way, and I've just been following this show and the last year with you. So this is really exciting episode for me as we're talking about planning this Hemp Your Health with all of the experts in the industry you've brought in just across the country. But you know, for our cancer fund, personally, and my family's, and where we started this thing, well, where my father started 40 years ago, and as when his dad, my grandpa, passed away from cancer, and it was, you know, ended up losing the fight to cancer, lung cancer. You know, he really took on the mission of wanting to provide resources for people, alternative resources, and then had the mission, the core values within that our foundation to really service education and prevention. And so he started raising money for the fight against cancer, and it was all here locally in Louisiana to support the families and patients, either through funding research studies, or it was raising money to have a screening van to give out free screenings, just in a variety of different ways. But really, the reason I got involved after I was finished playing in the NFL, and a finished 5-year career in the NFL, and as I was dealing with some personal health issues, GI issues, just started really diving into some research after I finished playing, and that kind of led me to digging back into my dad's old archives at the house, and started kind of aligning our passions together with, man, I know the feeling of struggling looking for answers, and where the resources just weren't there. And so that kind of why really resonated with me, relating to him as a 28-year-old, 26-year-old young man going through that. So I really, that's when our passions sort of collided on it, and I'd really been looking for a way to get involved and take this foundation into the next chapter, into the next 40 years, and I just feel like this, where things are going medically and individualized alternative type of treatments, and we're just able to offer more resources for people, and what we're able to do with our new website, go digital, really, which has been really a fun and really a learning experience. But and so many people have been really supporting that mission for us and with us as we've been putting it out there. So we usually have a for let's say 30 years, we had started out with a golf tournament every year, as a way to have our kind of signature event. Recently, the last 30, it's been tennis. And so that's really what been our 2020 for our fund, our foundation, all volunteer, 100% of the profits. We don't, no salaries. It's 501c3. So it's just been a really a passion fuel type of foundation, that's provides a service to the community here. But really, there's just so many things that we're able to do now with the digital space, especially 2020. We couldn't hold tennis tournaments, we couldn't do things, events, couldn't do medical conferences, or so we had to go online and get in front of people, at least have this resource, and our friends that are helping us build our websites are giving us some really amazing branding. We've rebranded the foundation, and we're able to do just some really special things. And that's where I got involved with the CBD and hemp, and all of that research kind of just tied in with Seed to System, and what I was doing out in Colorado, and the professionals out there I was working with, like yourself, and all of the experts in the field of integrated medicine, and just all of the access to that kind of knowledge, and that's really tip of the sword medical advancements, you could say, which is fascinating for me to learn about, but also to bring here back to Louisiana, where there really is just such a need for that sort of thing. And now that our foundation has partnered with the biggest healthcare system in Louisiana, it's just really exciting to be able to do more, and just to give back more, and that's really what it's all about at the end of the day.
So I love this, and the more I learn about the Mauti Cancer Foundation, the more I also want to contribute, because cancer affects everyone, and if it hasn't affected you, then prevention should be on the tip of your mind daily, weekly, whatever. You have something on your shirt that I would love for you to explain, how the no cancer, what is that?
So the no cancer, so it's sort of, what happens when you get diagnosed with cancer? What happens when you're sitting in a doctor's office and he's got, hands you a report, it says, we're sorry to tell you this, but here's the diagnosis. Where do you go? And what's the first thing you do? Nobody, they may give you some resources, but this for us, and this was a generous gift to our foundation from a very talented, generous, creative human being at Impressed. But this would be the kind of the calling flag for anybody that is going through that very situation, and at least to have sort of a flag out there to say, we can provide and do a better job providing more resources for more people, on just a broad scale in a digital space. And so that, in Louisiana, we spell everything a little bit a little bit backwards, a little bit French, but you want to start a business, you go to gobiz.com. You get diagnosed with cancer, you got to know cancer.com. That's where we want to be able to share the stories of cancer survivors, people that and families that beat cancer, and or get that, reading that report at the end of chemo runs, and they're clear, they're free of cancer, and ringing that bell. And so that, I just got chills gave myself chills, but that's really what it's all about. And for this to kind of be a signature, a banner for that cause is, it's a beautiful thing, and we plan on doing a lot of great things with it. But we got to get you a shirt for sure.
Oh yes, I would have that shirt on right now. I'm definitely sporting that shirt. So at the Mauti Cancer Foundation and No Cancer, who are you helping? Let's say someone is recently diagnosed, man or woman, with stage 2 or 3 cancer, and they call you up. What can they expect after calling you up?
Well, one of the great things about having a healthcare partner that just has so many resources here locally, and like I was saying, the biggest healthcare system in Louisiana, with Ochsner, we can at least help point those people in the right directions, and connect those dots. At least have that access. The biggest thing that I think we accomplished a lot of different things this year, in terms of 2020, adapting and really evolving.
Yes.
But one of the things that I'm most proud of, granted there was a lot of people involved, but we were able to group a group of all the nonprofits in Louisiana related to cancer, raising money for legislative efforts. And so we were able to pass a bill for insurance to fund and cover experimental treatments for patients for 3 months, which
Wow.
for some people, that's life changing. And so that's the kind of little things that, that's not a little thing, but it's the various types of things on an individual needs basis. We would like to, we've always helped families and that are in need. As far as the screening van, I've tried to pull those statistics to do the reporting from my dad's archives, and it's talk about 40 years of data and all in paper, but research studies funded, and thousands of screenings with our van, which is still every year comes around and does prostate screenings, does skin screenings, and I think that just the awareness of that message and being able to be that kind of beacon of, look, where do you go, and that again is what it's all about.
I love that. And early detection is pivotal because you can catch it before it becomes, hopefully before it metastasizes, and or the treatments become even more severe, and affecting obviously the family, friends, work, etc. I want to do a quick shout out to Jim Muller. Hello, happy new year to you. Everyone that's listening, thank you so much for joining. And I agree, this conversation is foundational because cancer affects everyone, and prevention and early detection is key. And then having resources to actually learn and keep the stress down is one of the services that the Mauti Cancer Foundation provides. Now, Michael, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, if you don't live in Louisiana, can you still use your services?
Without a doubt, that's what we're building out, and it is a work in progress, and we're running hard with our new website, mauticancerfund.org, and of course we have our nocancer.org, but we want to build that out to have more resources in terms of alternative methods of treatment, that just to have that option. In no way we want to be in a position, and never have been, to make medical claims, but one thing that I'm really passionate about is being able to to fund research to prove different methods of treatment or alternatives or experimentals that are just not really prioritized, or maybe there's not an incentive to push those kinds of treatments. And that's one thing that the Ochsner system has been really amazing with. And of course the CAGLA Cancer Advocacy Group of Louisiana. But it's not just Louisiana. I think really we wanted to be able to start bringing some very bright minds together and get behind this mission with us. And it's all about helping each other in this.
Yes. And it's really good that you bring up alternative treatments, because I think so many people hear cancer and then they automatically go chemo, and that's not necessarily true anymore. There are so many ways that we can kill, fight, replace, repair cancer, which again does have a little bit of a life of its own, but there's ways that you can treat cancer respectively, without chemo. And I'm so glad that you're going to be sharing these resources with people, because it's important to know that there are many ways to heal and recover and prevent chronic illnesses. And really that's what cancer is. It's a chronic illness.
I think that means even the emotional side of the fight against cancer, the effect it has on the families, and just because it really is, nobody fights it by themselves, and so having all of those resources and even not just the chemotherapy, but all of the auxiliary alternative kind of side effects associated with that, that we could really help bring some of the latest research in plant medicine, which is just a exploding area of science, medical advancements that I can't stop reading about. I haven't been able to stop reading about it for years. That doesn't make me an expert, but those are the kind of things that we want to be able to bring to a place, for me personally, to bring some of those minds and collaborate in a place that has one of the highest rates of cancer per capita here in Louisiana.
Yes, you do. And it's really serious down there. Which reminds me, again, we don't get sick by accident. That doesn't mean it's your fault or that we're doing it on purpose. And that's why healing really has to happen on a daily basis. And you've worked really hard on some products for your foundation that are plant-based. I would love for you to share them with our audience, because they're accessible to everyone and they're on the Seed to Systems website. And all of the proceeds, all of the profits go to the Rich Mauti Cancer, or the Mauti Cancer Foundation. What are these products?
So this was something that after when I finished football, I retired, I got to spend a lot of great time with my dad and really get in sync on and start creative collisions on where we could take this foundation and really do some powerful things with it. And one of those areas where I was diving into was cannabinoid studies and their relation to how they could benefit or potentially benefit chemo patients, and again, all the symptoms associated with that, and the immune system and everything else, and wellness prevention, that all fits within some of our core values. So here out in Colorado, I wanted to bring back a product that was trusted, that it was the best, most potent product that you could make, and so I formulated this. Well, I formulated this roll-on. It's a topical, but really it's warming. We made 2 flavors of it, but for a topical, it's more for joint relief, pain. It's similar to icy hot biofreeze, but the point is this is nothing but Chinese herbs and without any chemicals, and it's just no garbage. And so we've got a lot of great feedback from that, and I use it personally because I used to run into people for a living as fast as I could with my head. And so, of course, my neck's got little bit of aches and pains if I was sleeping the wrong way. But no, and it's just something I really believe in, and I've gotten, again, a lot of great feedback. But the one thing I'm most excited about, and we've had to really kind of ease into this thing. We are coming into Louisiana with a CBD hemp product where everybody kind of still thinks it's going to get you high, even though it's going on your skin. And so that's been a kind of a curve that we've had to overcome. But that's part of being able to move the needle and to educate about what these plants can do. And it's,
Yeah.
it's no different than, nutrients that you would get from some sort of vitamin or any other plant formulation. But we went with a topical just because of the regulation associated with ingestibles and things like that. Until we could really develop something that I've had in my mind for about a year and a half, and then that was these gel capsules, these 50 milligram gel capsules that are vapor distilled, which is a patented proprietary super clean solventless technology that was invented by a friend of ours who went to Mandeville High School right here in Louisiana, MIT, but just a special product. But that is something that we get calls all the time from people and patients that are going through the side effects associated with, feeling like hell, and that you're just getting sleep, recovering. It's a supplement essentially, and so it's all the profits and the proceeds just covered the cost of making the product. We just want to be able to give people access to it, and it's without a doubt that's as good of a, if not the best gel cap. And I'll say it, I'll give it the superlative myself, but it's, again, something that we're going to be launching here in the next week or two, that we've had in development for about a year. So
I love
something
this.
that we're going to be able to do a lot with.
I wanna explain to everyone too that when you have such systemic inflammation from cancer, that you do need higher serving sizes. Someone who has cancer or a chronic systemic inflammatory condition is going to need more hemp and CBD than a healthy person running around with less inflammation. And so the 50 milligrams is also, there's 60 capsules in that. And it really gives you such an advantage of being able to go at a higher serving size to address your system's needs. And Michael, would you mind if I read something from our handout about why hemp is so important? And then I want to
Please.
do a little bit more shout out about these, because the formulations are off the chain. And we
Yes.
talk about the entourage effect that comes just from the whole plant. But then when you put all these essential oils in or terpenes, the synergistic effects are so profound and can really move the needle, because everything breaks down to information. And the information that your body's receiving from these is doing the right thing. Most importantly, it's doing the right thing. And you've got nothing to lose. Don't wait till you have cancer to get this. Just like you remember Goon was on and he was talking about how much he loved these because he couldn't play golf, and now he can, and he uses the warming before golf and the cooling after golf. And we hear so many testimonials about these because they're profound, and the formulations go deep. They go beyond the entourage effect, which is powerful in and of itself because you've put so much time and consideration. And I agree, this formulation is the best I've seen too. I want to read something real quick for our audience. And I can put this link up in the notes afterwards, but there is a whole website that has 100 links to studies of how hemp and cannabis and the ECS are so important when preventing and reversing the chronic inflammation that results as cancer. So this is one of the quotes: "The endocannabinoid system has been placed in the anti-cancer spotlight for the last Immense data load published on its dual role in both tumorigenesis and the inhibition of tumor growth and metastatic spread has made it into attractive new target for the treatment of various cancer subtypes.
That's serious.
Should I go with one more?
Give me one more.
Okay. Let's do this one. This is from Dr. Sheen McCallisonform. I hope I'm saying his last name right. From the California Pacific Medical Center in San Francisco. Cannabidiol, or CBD, offers hope of a non-toxic therapy that could treat aggressive forms of cancer without any of the painful side effects of chemotherapy. I want to say one thing. Yes, it should be part of your treatment. It's not what I would use solely, but I wouldn't go in to cancer without using this. And certainly if it's helping with the treatment, then it's also helping with the prevention.
Well, we know it's proven already with the immune system and the communication between this and all the signaling throughout the body. So, it makes sense that it would support the immune system, which then would support all those other processes and just the well-being in general. So, we're FDA. We're not out here saying this is something that you need to be taken, but again, it's something that for me, I consider it a multivitamin.
Yes.
I've been through health issues where that were directly attributed to gut and brain and things not connected and wiring, and so I take it as because I've felt it and know its benefits. But when you talk about wellness and talk about sleep and the balance, all the circadian rhythms and that homeostasis, this is it starts with sleep. It starts with that just regularity of all the systems and the getting in sync of all the systems. And so that's what this stuff is proven to do.
And the endocannabinoid system's role is really to signal, is to open up and connect all the cellular pathways, whether it's in your immune system, your endocrine system, your nervous system, individual glands and organs and tissues. Everything is supposed to be talking and contributing to that dynamic balance that we call homeostasis. Now, signaling is not the cure, but the body can't detect where the injury is without it. So when you have better signaling, you're going to have better detection and a better opportunity from the foods you eat and the therapies you do and your lifestyle to actually get that signal. And then your body goes, I know where these anti-inflammatory properties need to go, or these antioxidant properties, or where, when you sleep, what needs to be repaired the most, or what hormones need to be rebooted. So it's everything. It's not one thing that causes a disease. It's not one thing that's going to cure a disease. So the more we can do that we know has been proven and tested and scientifically researched, the better your chances are of healing, right? And prevention and recovery. Recovery is sometimes quite a battle. And we want to see people, especially this is one of the things I love about your Cancer Foundation, is that recovery can happen in a community. And I love that you support that, because the last thing we need to be is more isolated when we have something as stressful as cancer.
Without a doubt, and especially now with the environment that we're in 2020 with COVID and everything, and you have more isolation than ever. And we just feel that as much of an opportunity than ever to get out there and to be able to be that kind of resource for people and connect those dots. It's really special.
Yes, it's so special. I one day I'm going to get down there and be able to see this foundation for myself. And again, I do want to contribute to this, because I personally, in our family, we have cancer, and I'd like for that to stop and at least have hope for people. And this is something that's very hopeful and promising. Should we dig into some pearls on prevention?
Yes, yes, please.
I do want you to know there are some shout outs from Cassandra, and she loves her roll on. Thank you. And we
Thank
will
you,
not
Cassandra.
wrap up without a special offer from the Mauti Cancer Foundation and CJ System about these roll ons, and of course, where to contact everyone. But the fight has to end. Like this fight for health, let's just roll into prevention, because when you're preventing, it's more peaceful, and our bodies are really healthy all the time, and we can contribute to that health by, in my opinion, eliminating one very ubiquitous, toxic, carcinogenic chemical, antibiotic chemical, and that's glyphosate. And the reason I think this is so important to share is because in Louisiana, in the southern states, it really hits these states hard because it's in the water, and 70%, 75% of the air carries downstream the glyphosate. And we know, and you can look this up, you don't have to take my word for it, that glyphosate is the active ingredient in a Roundup that is used as an antibiotic to kill weeds. 99% of it doesn't hit the weeds. It goes into the air, it gets into the water, it gets continues into the runoff. And what this does in our bodies is it starts to break us down. It ruins our microbiome. It's toxic to the mitochondria. It breaks down the tight junctions, which are everywhere. They're in your gut. They're the blood-brain barrier, the kidney tubulars, and the blood vessel terrain is all negatively impacted by glyphosate. I don't want to keep going on, Michael.
That's heavy, Christy. That's heavy stuff. I love that. I love, and you've been an amazing share of resources. That's, I think, how we first got in sync was brain sharing on research, and we go through rabbit holes, go back and forth for the last year and a half, and that's been, I learned so much from you and all of your resources. So,
But it's vice versa. You keep me inspired. In fact, you're the one who reminded me yesterday that cancer is an inflammatory disease, and that's really at its root. And I was like, God, I had forgot. Like, some stuff so simple. We all need to be reminded. It doesn't have to be complicated. If you do one thing for yourself, remove GMOs from your diet. I will put links in this show's notes, in this comments, about where you can find more information on glyphosate. Glyphosate also compromises your cytochrome P450 pathway, which is the pathway that we detoxify from. And when our detoxification is compromised, it's like never flushing your toilet in your house, except in your body. And you can't be healthy and toxic at the same time. You have to be 51% at least healthy, and 49% toxic is at least going to be better than 51% toxic. So glyphosate compromises detoxification. It's toxic to the mitochondria. We know that it compromises signaling because it's breaking down the blood-brain barriers and the tight junctions. And that way chemicals get in and your immune system's revved up, and then autoimmune conditions happen, and things happen downstream when foreign chemicals and toxins and proteins are in your bloodstream. I don't want to keep going on about glyphosate because I'm really passionate about it right now. I want us to talk about how we can use hemp as a preventative too.
Well, you know what? I think you told me the analogy maybe a few months ago, but to your point on 51% healing, you know, anything that you put in your body being inflammatory or anti-inflammatory, and not to get too too technical or medical, but it's trying to kind of like running from a tiger and then trying to tie your shoelace, at the same time. It's just rather just lace them up and just, you really have this more of a not holistic, but really taking a look at the whole picture of health, like what is health, sleep, diet, genetics, this whole kind of triangle and cycle, and that's something that really I think a lot of people need education on in general. I did, certainly, from given to what I knew and what I was forced to learn based on what I went through from a GI perspective, and really that came down to a lot of the things I was putting in my body. I didn't realize it or didn't know it. Didn't really know what food and nutrition and was, and how much of it was artificial, and so those are just the things that we just continue to learn about and grow together.
It's so true. And food really can be quite simple. And we can think of it in several ways. It's not like you have to be perfect, because that's stressful. And just like you were saying, Michael, stress is like trying to run from the tiger and tie your shoe at the same time. You can't do it. Something's going to win, and it's probably not tying the shoe. And all diseases, stress is indicated that 95% of all diseases can also be traced back to stress. And we know that stress affects the immune system, and you can't have a healthy immune system and a thriving and regenerating immune system and be in chronic stress. And remember, stress can be toxins, it can be thoughts, it can be from traumas. And this is one of the reasons why people have so many good experiences with hemp, because it's working on that system that tells the body how to balance out the immune system, balance out that overactive and loud noise that's constantly contributing to remembering traumas and high anxiety and mood and hormonal issues in the nervous system. The endocannabinoid system's receptors are everywhere in the body, and hemp is its superfood. And so when the body's more in balance, it's going to course correct quicker, versus.
Look, again, this is one thing I learned from you is when you say things. Originally, you said this is a food. If you think about it, reframe it as a food, where it used to be in the food cycle. It used to be in all the foods. The animals ate the cannabinoids. They went in the animals' bodies. We humans ate the animals or the plants. That those cannabinoids are they have not been present in the diet and the food supply chain, and so you've just whether it's directly correlated, certainly attributes to the fact that there's so much autoimmune disease that's so prevalent throughout the Western world. I'm a product of it myself, but it certainly is. It helps me reframe this as a food nutrient, as opposed to some sort of psychoactive substance that should be steered away from. Although that's in other places in Colorado, but
that's not all bad either, as long as it's organic.
Well, it's Israel and Jerusalem, Tel Aviv. Where Dr. Meshulam, who's the discoverer of CBD and the cannabinoids, and first synthesized these molecules. They've been studying it for 30 years, 40 years. Absolutely. So there's a lot of data that backs all that up, and those are the guys I really enjoy reading about, and there's just so many clinical cohort studies, double blind studies that are going on, and there's now coming into the U.S. so many research studies going on, and that's it's almost hard to follow week to week how much is going on in the terms of the medical discoveries that are being made, just based on the fact that there was no funding for research. There was no way to prove all these things that were happening. And look, that's why we wanted to be able to make products to help bring awareness to then fund to prove it because
Yes.
we've read it, we know about it. I bring the studies, hold them on a clipboard, but that's what we need to legitimize it as something that is again a nutrient and something that should be considered as that.
It definitely contributes to the reason why we have this show, which is health, healing, and prevention. Through communication, through signaling, through connection, through community, because nothing works in the body in a silo or in isolation, just like nothing works in nature in isolation. We need networking, and we need the signaling and the cellular and the extracellular communication. And hemp and the ECS really contribute to that. It is your largest system outside the microbiome, which is not a system. It's just there. It is. The endocannabinoid system is your largest system. And when it's not healthy and thriving, every other system is compromised because it can't communicate. Michael, I know we've got to wrap this up, and we got a lot of people saying hi. Closing thoughts and how we can get a hold of you and where we can find more information out about the Mauti Cancer Foundation, No Cancer, etc.
Yes, we are working to get all of our 40 years of history with my dad and just so much good I would call it content, but it's so many stories and so many testimonials. And I've been really excited to be able to take all of these archives and share them and just share the story and the mission of this foundation and really just bring it to the mainstream. And you can find out more about it. I would invite everybody to visit the MautiCancerFund.org. Check out nocancer.com. This is again, all the proceeds, t-shirts, everything else, products, all the profits right back to the foundation, where we're doing things like prevention. We got the van, we fund screenings, and we're going to be able to fund some research, and we're making legislative efforts here in the state, which are really exciting. We got a spring session coming up, which is in development. But in terms of the products, they should be up and live, ready to go. If not this afternoon, let's call it by the end of the week. But we're wanting to give these products people access to them. So we're giving away 2 of the roll-ons, both of the flavors, hot ice, heating and warming. It's about it's $99 for 2 of them. And it's 500 milligrams of vapor distilled oil with nothing but with plants aside from that to just complement it. And if you've ever used BioFreeze, or you ever use, you're active and, golf and tennis, or again, like me, running into people for a long time, it certainly is powerful stuff. And I know if I wouldn't use this stuff myself, then I wouldn't even want to be a part of it. But again, that's what we're launching today. Hot ice bundle pack, and then these gel caps, which have been about a year in development, a lot of anticipation building. We're going to be launching those here shortly as well. So again, so much exciting things going on. So many things that we're really proud to be launching. And seedsystem.com has been generous enough to carry all of our products on their website and as we get launched. And so we're just nothing but good things to come.
Oh, I love this. Everyone, please stock up on these while the promotion is still going. Experiment with those 50 milligram caps. They are profound, and they can really move the needle. I take 50 milligram caps, 50 milligrams before I go to bed at night, most nights. So I'm switching to those instead of 2 of our 25.
That's where I would start at nighttime with those, because they are definitely, it's like a glass of red wine. They will definitely put you in a nice recovery REM, deep REM type of state.
Oh, I
for
love
sure.
that. And sleep is medicine, like you were saying earlier.
That's the biggest performance enhancer you could take is a good night's sleep. So reset all the hormones and the circadian rhythms. Again, I'm no doctor. I do know that sleep is about the best cure for anything you got in terms of prevention or wellness.
Absolutely. I love this. Everyone, we hate to wrap this up, but it's necessary. So, Michael, thank you. Everyone, check out the Mauti Cancer Foundation. No Cancer, is it nocancer.org?
nocancer.org.com. They both go to the same place, just in case. But Christy, thank you so much for having me. We could go all day on this back and forth as we have before. This time it's live, but I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. We've watched this week to week. All of us at CGIS System and our Cancer Foundation, we're just so proud to be a part of this organization, and we just look forward to nothing but good things in 2021.
That is right. And if anyone has any suggestions for shows in 2021, please contact me, CHRISTY, Christy at CGIS System. We're here for you. This is for you, your health, your prevention, your healing, etc. So communicate with us. We're here. We love you. Happy New Year, Michael. Thank you. Go get those products. Like us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. We will continue with the content. Go Hemp Your Health.
Hemp Your Health.
Bye.
Bye, Christy.